Hey Cancer, how are you doing? I'm here capturing the energy of the full moon, lunar eclipse in Taurus, and I'm going to, you know what, I would like to check the astronomy. Maybe I'll do that the next read. I'll get Stellarium out and Sky Safari out, the apps, and check. I think the sun is actually just, it's still in Libra technically. This is where tropical and sidereal really part ways. But so Cancer, I did a split in the decks that I'm going to use, and these are the energies that I've got for you to start off with. But we'll go back into each of these decks and get other energies from them as well. But I'll do a little overview with you now before I sit down and actually get into it all. So in Engracia's Divine Doors deck. And I'll get 2 more doors. I like to work with 3 doors. We have what is hopefully a good sacred space, but you know, a lot of sacred spaces carry a lot of secrets to them as well, yes? But clearly we have progression, yes, from one end to the other, and an exit or an entrance, depending on how you're looking at it, right? With the, but we have an institution. We have something that needed to be mastered, right? Something that an understanding that needed to be met and worked through. I see that in this card, and we'll read it afterwards at the end. In Alana Fairchild's Wild Kuan Yin, we have this energy. This is she works with, she's the paintings of a Chinese painter with Tibetan scenes. So I'm just trying to figure out, I'll read the back of it later. I've read it before, so I'm familiar with it, but I'm trying to get from the picture itself. We have a child in tow with a parent. Staying loyal, you know, staying close. We have a river progressing, yes. We have writing on the rock. We have the butterfly, metamorphosis. We have growth. We have springtime, summertime, but we have wind. We have cloudy skies, so there could be some confusion, right? It's not a clear blue sky. We're looking back, we're looking in different directions, right? The calf is looking there, the mother's looking this way, the girl, Kuan Yin, who is the spirit guide, but we have spirit animals here, obviously, right? And the white, not that white and dark for me are good and bad, they aren't. But she's looking this way, so there are different directions to look in, okay? Foot in the stirrup. What is her hand holding? A flower. A bloom. She either picked or she found. Now why? Okay. So what relevance does that have? What does that bring us? Okay. And next I have Mel Brown's Aboriginal Spirit Oracle. I love Mel Brown's decks so much. This deck carries particularly rebellious energy. Punk, I would say, energy. But we've got connectivity. And the outline of this bird, yes, that is a continuation. It's not only the outline of the bird, it becomes the outline of everything. The awareness, the subconscious awareness, the spirit awareness. And his body actually dissolves, yes, into, what do we want to say that this is? We'll get into that. And is he rising from it or descending back into it? Or is it a bit of both? All right. in this little deck that I have, this is an animal playing cards deck that I've had for years, but animals are a huge part of my day job. I clean homes, and I have at least 3 parrots in my life. Not at least, I have 3 parrots in my life. And so eventually this energy spoke to me to use this in readings. It does have a monarch butterfly on that, and that can speak to monarch mind control issues. So I find it helpful with highlighting problems like that. Not that we're all monarch mind control MK Ultra products, but we actually in large part are. We have a 10 of Wands in the upright, so something is absolutely at completion, of course. So Sagittarius, so either something's being healed, there's tremendous faith required maybe when you least have it because you've worn it down, or life has worn it down for you, or there's arrival, we're close to the finish line, we're close to where you want to get. So that energy's there. Oh, right underneath it, Ace of Cups in the upright. So that's, oh my goodness, with the Ace of Wands right underneath that. Okay, so we'll keep those cards separate for the reading. In the Lenormand, I'm just brutalized that word, we have the bouquet. So there is recognition, there is again accomplishment, but admiration for you. There we have the 9 of perseverance, of proving yourself to everyone. We have the king. Okay, so maybe there is a king, right? With the Queen of Swords right there. So for me that's Aquarius energy, but that's just mastermind. I put it as Aquarius because I put 11th house as mastermind thinking, Queen and King level. So because I reorganized air and earth energies according to houses. So, but definitely mastermind thinking and communication. So connecting with that connectivity card. And right below that we have the fish. Yes, opportunity. With a 7 of transformation and the King of Pentacles, the King of Coins. So what did I say about there being a king? And we have the gentleman in reverse right underneath that. No, we have the lady. Okay, get my glasses. Okay, interesting. Now I have Susan Sheppard's Phoenix cards, which is past life work, but I would put it as ancestral work. For me, I'm not sure that I ever have been here before. I wouldn't want to come back. But it is a 10. And this is a Jukun ceremonial mask. It's never worn. This is from a tribe. Goes way back in Nigeria, particularly part of a larger group of tribes that have serious impact on even the Mediterranean world. And their customs are similar to Egyptian, which we should say Kemet traditions. And so there's something to do with probably the truth, the deep truth of origins. Yes, because I have right underneath that I have the shaman card, the ancient shaman card. So we're going in deep. But what else is new for Cancer? Because of course we do have, in Morgan Greer's, we have judgment. So a reconnection or a rebirth, tremendous creative energy here, Pluto energy. So if that speaks to you at all. Okay, so that's the overview. So let's dig in. Let's dig in and get a tarot story. Okay, so I've got everything set up where I can reference it. Let's get a couple more doors first. And get an idea. Okay. Get an idea of what Cancer. Interesting. Huh? Still knocking out some nice peach color there. Love it. But hesitance. Hesitance. Wow. Okay, there's an uptightness to this. Stress. Wow, with this energy. And it actually is, I should point out that in this point of November, there's a 5 to 6 day window. There's an well, there isn't an overlap actually. At one point I thought there was between Scorpius constellation and Scorpio season. But Virgo really knocks that out of the park because the sun stays in Virgo for a month and a half. But it's still holding true that the middle, let's say the 15th to the 20th, give or take. So the 15th, let's say the 16th, for me it's held true with the 15th, let's say to the 21st, strong Scorpius, Pluto events happening. So harsh transformations. So it's probably because I'm recording it right in the time of that's the energy. And yeah, it's going to bring something outside yourself happening to you that is hopefully that you've been prepped for and you can walk right into with enough faith. Yes, but not at all I should say requiring absolute certainty of spirit and trusting your divine path. But definitely high stress levels. Okay, yeah, we've got what I would say is an interdimensional card for me. They all might be interdimensional, but this one in particular to me harkens to even less the... see, I work with murder victims and victims of violent death, but I also work with fairy worlds. And I'm not speaking just like I come from specifically Celtic fairy worlds, but I've been connected to, again, fairy worlds really, relative to people all over the earth. And so we're talking magic people. Yes. Yeah, magic people. So let's gather these up and see where we're headed with this, because they will connect with the tarot. Patience. Everything soon will come to light, and then you'll see things will be all right. And there's someone to communicate that to. It's not affecting just you, it's affecting at least one other person. And that was that understanding that I was saying needed to happen. Intuition, which for me is a non-word. You either, your own brain did the work over time, or a psychic connection told you something. When people use the word intuition, they're just shying away from deciding either one of those things. Because intuition means to know something without knowing how you know it. Well, there are ways to know how you know a thing. It's either psychic or your own brain did the work. Simple, complex, words of pain or words that heal. You come to know truth by the way that it feels. But you need to be educated in that. Lots of people get fooled by demonic entities or a singular entity that knows exactly how to color things to mimic. And be very, 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 very subtle. So it does take an educated gut. And by that, it means you have to actually risk knowing who's who and what's what. You can't trust one source to guide you when you haven't checked to make sure that that source is actually, it's a process of elimination. Nomad. The nomadic wanderer lies deep inside, so take the leap now. Don't crawl back and hide. Okay, Cancer. Beautiful. So I feel like with the lunar eclipse, the trouble is the moon makes us safe. I'm Scorpio rising. I have Saturn and Mars in Cancer, and I use sidereal placements that are as close to being accurate to the positions as possible, as opposed to tropical. So you might want to check. But there's something then about the fairy folk in your life. You need to go with them. Okay, so let's see how that's going to play out. All right. Now let me just see how the focus is. Sometimes it doesn't get clear enough. And we'll start with that judgment. Okay, so we'll put our doors. Let's see here. I know enough. Well, no, I'll try not to talk too much about things that aren't necessarily relevant, except that the cards bring them to mind, right? So, divine timing. Something's probably being taken away from you, or the path is being cleared. Okay, and I take cards in the direction that they fall down as a form of card geomancy, which I learned from, the research that I've been able to find is from Ethiopia. They don't do it with cards, of course, but other objects. But this tells me that this will give me some astrological information as well, and energetic. Okay. Sparring, training. Necessary change of 5. We've got Leo energy, creative energy, but leadership energy. Teamwork. A project. It's near completion. It's near readiness, shall we say. Maybe not completion, but readiness. Which progresses to the 6 of Wands. But it is... this is what's going on. This is what's going on. First energy of this harsh transformation. Competing or contrasting allegiances, possibly, or different groups coming together to collaborate. That one's just sliding out and it's squaring off with that one. Okay. High Priestess, she's just subtle there, isn't she? But you see how it's at a 90-degree angle. So she's squaring off. So she's applying pressure to this situation. We could say basically she's creating this transformation. For me, this is a Lilith. I use this in my astrology videos as a Lilith card. So that takes me back to the fact that Lilith, in reality, is the wrong name given as a smear campaign. If I could rename her, I would, but we might as well stick with the name Lilith for ownership of the smear campaign. The Delphi oracles, the oracles that guided all of the Mediterranean pretty much, were African prophetesses and prophets. We're made to believe through European history that the oracles were white, but they were not. They were African, and of course the serpent is attached to that as a strong symbol of life and knowledge and wisdom. And that's why the snake is demonized, along with Eve, along with Lilith, because the history, there's at least a 6,000 year history of these prophetesses, and most of the prophecies in a certain holy book were taken from their work. Also the Iliad and the Odyssey, I do believe. Iliad in particular. Taken straight from them, like their words, their writings. Yes, one woman in particular. I gotta remember her name. One prophetess in particular. So this takes us back to that. Those were the Sibyls, the black doves, If you look into them, there's actually a card deck called the Sibyl's Oraculum, and I've had a copy. I gave it to a friend of mine, and I need to get it again. But they're going to connect to knowledge of Mamiwata, and there's a channel on YouTube that I normally link to, Mama Zagabe's channel, as well as Natural Tahuti's, Nathan Howard's, and he's paid the ultimate price for getting this truth, helping her get this truth out. But it's going to take us to the Orisha as well. Not directly, somewhat indirectly, but the Orisha, who are God's helpers, and they're connected to many tribes, in particular the Yoruba, but Yoruba is the wrong word, the wrong name. It's the name Portuguese gave people, and it's a mistranslation. So there's a lot of lies, there's a lot of whitewashing to get through. So and the truth of all of that is loaded into the meaning of this card, and the people that make these cards totally understood that. The Great White Brotherhood knows exactly what truths it's playing with. The credit to them is that they actually keep circulating it if we do the work to investigate. So all of that great power, tremendous power there behind this. But why this particularly? You have those 10 wands there. And wands is all about your deepest motivations, the things that you would really like for yourself, that keep, your flame, your inner flame, your flavor. Yes. And Scorpio actually carries fire. Underneath Scorpio is the depths, yes, and underneath the depths we do have the molten lava at the center, at the core of the earth, yeah. So, and that's why it makes sense for Mars to be co-ruler with Pluto. Okay, this is slapping up, so there's something of a fair exchange of valuing yourself properly. Virgo for me energy, 6th house energy. So something to do with workplace, health, and routines. Detail work. But a gift. Anything else? No, they're kind of sticking right now. There's hesitancy again. So let's check in with Lenormand again. See if we want to get clarity on that Queen of Swords and the bouquet. Oh, we do. Squaring off again. Right, okay, so she was right underneath. She was right underneath the King of Pentacles with the fish. Maybe I'll just look through the deck for that. There's a whole story going on here in the order that the cards are in. Let's get that fish back out. I thought maybe I'll put it back in the deck and see what's what. Now I can't find it. Interesting. There we go. Okay, so we had him because she was right underneath. Remember how I was like, it's gentleman. No, it's not. It's the lady with the ace. That's 3 aces on the table. Yes, that's 7 of transformation. Okay, so the Pentacles energy, Coins energy is always extremely deeply, it's the scary magic for as far as I'm concerned. Every sign carries its own kind of magic, but and every root group, shall we say, so water, air, fire, earth. But earth is the manifester of the implementation. So if you want deep witch, wizard, shaman, for me, energy, then it's in the Pentacles. Because you know that they know, in this energy, you know that the matrix is more a concept. It's an artificial system imposed on us. A thought, you know, it's a reality, yes, but there is a greater reality underneath it. And that's what we know, working through the spirit, working through combining spirit work with physical work. So you see how when I have them foot to foot, yes, toe to toe, okay, in opposition to each other. But in oppositions, these two need to succeed together. One doesn't succeed without the other succeeding, okay? So there is a partnership here, whether or not you're aware of it, between the woman in this card and this deep spirit, this powerful female spirit, shall we say, the great goddess, okay, who is creating all of this. And so in order for her work to succeed, this woman, or divine feminine, or they, whichever pronoun is going to fit this for you, if it's you, if it's not you, if it's somebody else, but probably it's you. I tend to focus on whoever I want the primary energies coming through. I'm not actually trying to shape the message at all. I'm just trying to transmit it. So 10 generally, and I work closely with Kali. I grew up 26 years with Jesus, and I still love him, and I've spent 10 years going deep after I left the church. I went deep, or even during then, I was deep into actually researching and figuring everything out, okay? But Kali is who appeared to me in my home just over a couple of years ago. But yes, so let's say, just by comparison, so in order for Kali's work that she gets me to do, for her to succeed, I need to succeed. And I need to succeed for, I don't succeed if she doesn't succeed. Okay? That's what I'm saying here. Which you probably got 2 minutes ago. But, so, yes, that's the meaning of an opposition. So, interdependency. So not only is, what we could say is, because she is creating this, she knows more than the woman knows. Yes, she has more power than the woman has. She is somewhere that the woman doesn't know. The woman doesn't know where she is, but she knows where the woman is. Yes. More major arcana as well. But this woman is also squared off against this, which means that there is an internal push against, there's friction between the woman and this 5 of Wands. So there's an external push and there's an internal push. So the opportunity with the Pentacle is missing. Anything else? But we do have a King here with that Pentacle. It's not missing, it's with the King energy. For me, that's Capricorn again. For me, that's Aquarius, Queen of Swords. And the fish. The fish are this opportunity with the recognition going over here. A new desire with the Ace of Wands. New fire. Okay, let's take these as the final tarot cards. Yeah, full transformation in Scorpio. Cups energy, how true. And your own card here. Now, the Two of Cups. Normally there's like a caduceus, right? In this card, the two snakes around the wand, the staff, which is not a medical symbol. Well, even the one snake around the staff, Asclepius's rod. Asclepius was a guy, a magician, who worked out of caves. There are cave temples to him, yes. And you go in and you go into altered states, and the snakes, if there's any blood around you, like with your medical condition or whatever, if anything happens, gets out of hand, his holy snakes will lick you clean. Yeah, and heal you, right? Okay, he's a white guy. And so he's represented, and then of course we've got Moses with the snake around the, he spears the snake and holds it up and says, look and live, right? So we have all of these traditions, and of course World Health Organization uses Asclepius's rod as their symbol, but the two snakes is actually a commercial symbol, commerce, trade, snake oil salesman, literally, attached to Hermes, Mercury, who is the traveling salesman for the Greeks, the messenger, but patron god of snake oil salesman. So there is a commercial meaning to this card as much as there's any kind of spiritual rootedness connected to this. But I would say spirit guides have your commercial interests at heart. Okay? They are tied to your finances. They are tied to your security, to your roots. Cancerian is very much... Cancerian energy, the houseboat, has to maintain balance. I use it as a houseboat. I classify it as a houseboat. But Cancer's house is very much about a zero tolerance policy for toxic behavior, whether or not people understand that. And that's why Cancers get gaslighted more than anybody else. Everybody's got to answer to the Cancerians at some point. And people need to realize that all non-Cancerian strong placements need to understand that they are ultimately accountable to Cancerians. It's where the heart, the moon, it's where the heart of the conscience is. But the balance that needs to be maintained totally includes commercial success in order to sustain and maintain the home. So here we have your transformation, working completely with spirit guides. I know, see there's confusion in here as well. As much as I said there was in here, right? Got clouded skies, so there can be some confusion here. So maybe a tremendous amount of control is being handed over to you, and it is confusing because you're getting into the 8, 9, 10 of cups. So once you hit 8, 9, 10 of cups, you're into Piscean energy, which Pisces is all signs and all houses. Able to adapt and think and worry about. And it's heavy the head that wears the crown. And I would say that the King and Queen of Cups are actually capable of wearing all crowns, even more than the Emperor. But here we have absolutely this transformation echoed with this Pluto energy and the moon, the lunar energy here. Okay, so let's see if I can figure out where these doors line up. I'm just going to reorganize the cards a little bit here to use the space better visually, and I'll just make sure that you can see everything okay. Yep. So the first door for patience is Temperance energy. Everything will soon come to light, and then you will see things will be all right. This feels like a result to me. And then we have two, of course we have two people here and we have two people over here. But I feel like it's actually this woman down here with the internal struggle. It's really actually her proving herself to everyone over here, and he's going through the transformation. And the nomadic wanderer lies deep inside. So take the leap now. Don't crawl back and hide. I kind of want to put that there. For me, it's becoming all of these, it's going through all of these cups. It's figuring out how to be all of these things. Yes, there are different, everything in the cups represents different desires, different areas, but you see how even here we have a snake, right? And repeated with the dragon. And we have, what did we have? We have these 5 wands. Either the project or the teamwork. These commercial endeavors, yes. So the question is with who? Intuition, right? The word that isn't a word. Simple, complex, words of pain or words that heal. You come to know truth by the way that it feels. Well, let's put that right there. Because I just clarified that the whole healing thing. Yes, obviously. The truth. The truth about this card and the healing. And what did I say with the 10 wands? Sagittarius is all about those journeys. Oh God, I'm going to put that in the middle, aren't I? Yes. Long journeys, the healing, the truth, 9th house. And so we're heading towards Sagittarius season. Venus is already, like, I think at least halfway through, if not even further, through Sagittarius. So everything that you need to look after yourself properly and your wants and your concerns, all the Venusian things, the practical considerations that really look after your bottom lines, that's in Sagittarius right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if Venus is actually even more influential right now than the Sun. Because that's some strong. You got the wheel, the Jupiter turning there with Sagittarius. And Venus is like way ahead of the pack right now. Way ahead of the pack. Okay. Let's just consider where these aces belong. This Ace of Cups, yes. Easy to say there. Ace of Wands. I feel like the Ace of Wands has to be acknowledged. Because you need, the patience is in waiting for the acknowledgement of that ace, I do believe. Or it could go with these two. A rekindling, possibly. I'm torn. It can go there or there. But this patience situation probably can relate to this as well. All of it, of course, but particularly to this person. Squaring off. Okay, so let's get into these cards and see what's what. There's a bit to read with them. It wouldn't even work just to memorize the meanings because there's excellent things that need to be said. And there's actually a process to reading for this card, Susan's card. And Mel says excellent things, and I want her ancestors to speak through the card book rather than my spin on it. It's important to hear from them. So let's read the back of Kuan Yin. And that flower in her hand, the springtime, the bud. Grace carries you home. Well, those 10 wands. At the end of your efforts, 10 wands, when your resources are exhausted. Okay. And you are without further recourse. I am there for you with loving wild grace to carry you home. So something beyond your abilities. Her. Yes? There she is. And the squaring off in this 5th house, in this Leo accomplishment house, okay? The midpoint to those 10 wands, yes? There she is. So the Great Mother, yes? Yes, beautiful. Okay. On to the next. I'll put her there. Well, actually, let's put her right there. Beautiful. Okay, I'll get the book. Okay, I've got it to the connectivity page, but I just wanted to show that there's actually a confusion card, and that didn't come through. Okay, so with those clouds in the cards, the emphasis is not on the confusion. It's there, but they're not highlighting it through this deck. Connectivity is about taking that quiet time. Here, let me hold it this way, and then you can contemplate the card. You might prefer to read for yourself, but you can pause it and go back and read that. It's about taking that quiet time to join the dots together. What did I say about intuition? It's either your own mind did the work or you were psychically guided, told, right? So now we're talking about your mind doing the work. To find the truth of the whole story. It's the realization there are no such things as coincidences and that everything is connected in some way. The challenge is to recognize how the puzzles fit together and what this means for you. Sometimes the answers you need are embedded in the complexity of the puzzle. Sometimes the answers you need are embedded in the complexity of the puzzle. In other words, if you do not embrace the complexity, you are not going to get the clarity. Oh, so true. Okay. Once the first few pieces fall into place, you'll be surprised at how easy the rest of the puzzle starts to take form, and before long you can see the whole picture. So, you want to seal the deal. Now's the time to do it. Okay. Ditch those niggling negative thoughts and find the courage to embrace this brilliant opportunity. What's the opportunity? The agreement that has been reached between yourself and another party is genuine. Whether it's a marriage proposal, a job offer, or an offer of a loan, whatever the agreement is, it's a sealed deal. Spread your wings and fly. Experience the freedom this opportunity provides for you. You have asked the universe many times to grant you your wish, and now all the connections have come together. So here it is. Enjoy. Holy shit. Hello. Wow. Sometimes it's just that clear. It takes time to get through it all, but it's that clear. And that's how we make sure that we're really sure. I went through they had me go through all the details of every card first. Wow. Okay. Now for a bit more of a complex read with this one. There are several different ways to read for this card because Susan Sheppard did such an awesome job of creating her own layout for this, and I'll show you. These are the cards. The book. This is a book for the cards, yes. Susan passed into another dimension, leaving behind her 22-year-old daughter on April 19th, which I've just found out is a sacrifice day. She passed this past April 19th, 2021, I do believe, and I didn't find out for a few months, and I went looking up her website, and then I found, because of the search results, what had happened to her. So I ordered these cards the day that I found out, and I had them shipped to me from Kenny's in Galway, Ireland, because I wanted a very special set of them. So whatever the circumstances, whether or not she was, because she was a witch, she might have been, she had major health problems, autoimmune problems, but she also did the Black Moon astrology deck. She's done several decks. But I don't know if she adheres to sacrifices or not. So I don't want to speak disrespectfully of sacrifices, even though I struggle with that, from my end, but then I'm not her. So I don't want to assume anything. But this is a reading that she sets up for her cards, and she'll read for them in each position. And she's done write-ups for each position, okay? So what I'm going to do is read for that card in each of those positions. And it won't take too long, but it's necessary. So I'm just going to get myself oriented. And we'll use shorthand. She does give descriptions for what she thinks each planetary position refers to. My ideas are similar enough that I'll just use my few words of description. Okay. There. Got the first page. So, in the sun position, which I would say are your instincts and triggers. Okay. The Yiguang Akuma mask. You are becoming more intensely aware of building a foundation for the rest of your life. Traditional values seem worthy of your respect. You're weary of the tentative or free-floating feelings of the last few years. In order for a tree to flower and grow, it must have strong roots. This is a good time to search out the wisdom of your parents or ancestors. Although mistakes may have been made, now's the time to break the cycle of negativity and wipe the slate clean. Learn to reconcile the conflicting forces inside you. Without paradox, truth cannot be found. Oh, I love that, because I love paradoxical thinking. But exactly the conflicts within you. Yes? This squaring off these conflicts in the Five of Wands, whether or not they're external or internal, but there's internal involved because she's pushing the external because you've got it internally, okay? Beautiful. That's that, and that's pushing this transformation. Okay. Let's get our focus back here, and I'll read for the moon position, which for me is your conscience. And again, so the last one are triggers and instincts. So if you're being triggered, yes, she is making the triggers happen. There's a strong need to seclude yourself. You may get a strange, lonely, resonant, and distant feeling about others during this period. Your family calls upon you for help, but you feel compelled to retreat. Your soul radiates the impression that you must be alone. However, turn the page. It's important right now for you to immerse yourself in being a member of your tribe. So no matter how much you want to retreat, now would be not the right time to do it astrologically. For your own chart's sake, for your own work's sake, now's not the time. Okay. And now for the Mercury position, your mind and imagination. You're now showing interest in personal history and family traditions. You seek to evaluate the wisdom and learning of those who have gone before you. The mind takes an inward turn, and you're focusing on your own point of view. It's hard for you to understand the depth and complexity of your feelings. It seems as if the actions of your mind and heart are unrelated. To solve this problem, it would be beneficial to turn your attention back to the interests you held as a small child. Here's where your heart and mind will find harmony and truth. Ooh. What did I say? I noticed that she was looking back. Right? The young one. Kuan, great mother, carrying you, and you look back. And not necessarily even just to your, like to all ancestors, yes? I don't know if you come from Nigeria. In the Venus position, your attractions, your appetites, your needs, anything sort of prenuptial, right? You're feeling the need to maintain a long-standing, secure relationship. Choosing the Yiguang Akuma mask indicates a period of settling in. You have become tired of the chase. You currently desire a relationship that's more secure and substantial. You're beginning to put things in order. Intimate involvements will be approached with more depth and stability than passion right now. Be careful not to smother your mate, child, or friend at this time. Give them room. Everyone will appreciate it in the long run. So that zero tolerance policy that is Cancers. Yes, people that gaslight you. So the balance of not being gaslit, but not also anticipating it from everybody either. Well, we got a lot of that relationship on this table here. Okay, let's go to the Saturn position. For me, Saturn is all about your fears, boundaries, and calculated risks. It's important that you define your objectives and ambitions. Your boundaries, yes. You can sense the need for a new order in your home environment and may feel an obligation to family members. This is a good time to build a strong foundation and recognize the true intent of your past motives. You may feel as though you've been living in a dream world for the past 2 or 3 years. The sad, wistful feeling you're experiencing will soon come to an end. Avoid the temptation to put things off. It's possible to waste your entire life in procrastination. This is true. Failure is a possibility. Yeah, with those 3 aces on the table. Go, go, go. Right? Plus this transformation is just not letting you be comfortable. Not going to let you be comfortable. Let's go to the Uranus position. Be careful of people who try to milk your pity. Oh God. Cancer, when is there a day where you don't get milked? This card selection recalls, or people try, I should say. This card selection recalls a past life where you were physically enslaved or owned by another person or group. Your particular genius is an inordinately sensitive intuition, right? So either it's your own mind doing it or psychic connection that can be used for healing. Here we go with healing again. You may be going through a period of necessary emotional distress. Try not to be so vulnerable, right? Lean on her because she's the one doing it. Yes? This distress, she's making sure that it completes. Yes? She's with you in this. And I should say that that was for the, again, Uranus position, which is for me, what is unique about you. Your areas of non-conformity. And so now we'll read for the Pluto position, your hidden wealth, your hidden powers. Okay. Sorry to leave you with a blurry screen there for a little. Now's the time to get in touch with your more primitive and direct feelings. Remember how we had that prehistoric shaman card right underneath this one? Yeah. This card position shows a need for a period of self-nurturing. You have a poetic, exquisitely sensitive imagination. You yearn for a life of beauty and elegance. It's likely that you're experiencing problems with early attachments or outworn attitudes. Family life demands your attention, but takes the time to nourish the child within. So basically, you got to work all experiences into the great awareness. When don't you do that? What is this for you that is different from what you already know? The difference between Cancer and Scorpio. You give... I was thinking about that earlier. That there's the thing that, because Scorpio has that fire in the magma, the lava, and Cancer and Pisces don't have that. You have other things, yes, but I think you're more vulnerable. If you can... Going through this Scorpio experience, if you can pick up some fire from that and remember that there is fire underwater. Let's see if we've got one more Kuan Yin. Thank you, Susan. But we have those doors. I'm gonna figure out what I did. Oh, there she is. Okay, one last Kuan Yin. Probably redundant, but we'll flip one out. It went flying and it's squaring off with that. Oh, and right underneath it, my favorite mother card. Yes, I love this one. I'll just show you the picture. It's very hard to get this one because the reds and the pinks are so strong for the camera. But that was underneath. Here we have final message. Ah, sister of Shambhala, put your faith in the light and believe that good things can happen and will happen. I put my faith in the dark as well. We do not need to deny darkness, but nor do we need to place our minds there. This is where I part ways, because I'm a drawer and I teach drawing, and you need light and dark to make a picture. So for me, it does not work. It's a dualism. It's Masonic Great White Brotherhood dualism to invoke white as good and dark as bad. If you want to go hear what Malcolm X has to say about all that. But also if you go through an older thesaurus for words connected to white and light and dark and bad, you'll see that there's a huge historic culture coming out of Europe for equating those things. And it is racist. And so we need to correct the language. And there's light and dark exist on a spectrum, a visual spectrum. Good and evil for me do not, but a lot of these cards actually, the problem is when a philosophy excludes evil as a reality, and I don't. For me, evil is completely real. Unarguably. However, so let's say you put your faith in good and believe that good things can happen. Kali comes as darkness. Okay, the feminine is darkness. The moon represents the darkness. The sun, the brightness. Yes. So if we want to say that dark is bad, then we're calling the feminine bad. We're calling the moon bad. We're calling the subconscious bad. There's way too much, and it's not actually scientifically accurate, nor spiritually. And it's feeding the Great White Brotherhood's agenda. But I do love these. I'm very particular about my decks, and I love that this card gives me the opportunity to talk about that. The excuse, right? Or the reason, the way. And that's part of the message of this, is to get into that. There are better dwelling places into which our minds can settle. Trust in the spring that follows the winter. So now that I've held this up, and if somebody's just watching and not listening, they'll think that I'm completely obsessed with the light being good. But anyway, yes, beware of, what was I saying earlier about those entities that can work through you very subtly and pull you into rough situations, behaviors, even the best of us, even at our strongest. What had brought me into saying that? I can't remember. It's somewhere in here, way earlier on, right? So yes, you can be pulled into the negatives in your mind very subtly. Okay? So, the truth of light and dark is what we end on. Yes, Cancer? Alright, good luck. And you are the boss. Much love. Until next time.